Okay, so when I say Professor Charles Xavier, what's the first image that pops into your head? Probably the wise, kind leader of the X-Men, right? The voice of reason in a world that's, well, not always so reasonable. But what if I told you that's only half the story? Not even.
For years, especially in the movies, he's been built up as this perfect mentor. The father figure who truly believes that humans and mutants can get along. In our collective minds, he's the good guy. Simple as that.
And this is where it gets messy, because under that calm, collected exterior is a mind with absolutely terrifying power. A mind with a history packed with dark secrets, shady deals, and some straight-up betrayals. The man we think we know, he's a myth.
So before we dive into the deep end, let's just refresh our memory on that iconic image. This is the Professor X we all know and love, the one made famous by actors like Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy.
On the surface, his resume is pretty heroic. He starts the X-Men to protect the very world that fears them. He builds a school, a literal safe haven for young mutants, so they can learn to control their powers. His entire mission is built on this beautiful dream of peaceful coexistence. He's the ultimate teacher, the ultimate protector.
And this sets up the classic struggle that really defines the X-Men. You've got Xavier's idealism on one side, this unbreakable hope. And on the other, you have his oldest friend and biggest rival, Magneto. Magneto's past taught him a much, much darker lesson about humanity. This whole conflict, hope versus fear, integration versus separation, it's the engine that drives the whole story. Okay, but this is where that myth really starts to fall apart. To get the darkness in Charles Xavier, you first have to understand the terrifying, massive scale of his power. Omega level isn't just some cool-sounding comic book term. It means he has, and I'm not exaggerating here, one of the most powerful and dangerous minds on the entire planet. His potential is, for all intents and purposes, limitless. He can read any mind, control any mind, and rewrite any mind he wants. And that leads to a really uncomfortable question. If you can make anyone think, feel, or completely forget anything you want, where's the line? What kind of messed up choices are you willing to make for what you call the greater good? For Xavier, the answer is a lot of them. I mean, his past is just littered with these moral landmines. He was part of a secret club called the Illuminati, making these world-altering decisions in the shadows. He has mentally manipulated his own students, literally wiping their memories to cover up his own failures, like the time he sent a secret untrained team of kids to their deaths. He even enslaved a living AI for years just to run his training room. And maybe the most chilling part? He created the Xavier Protocols, detailed plans for how to kill every single one of his students if he had to. When you live a life making those kinds of calls and that many powerful enemies, well, there are going to be consequences. And in comics, the biggest consequence is death. For Professor X, it's practically a hobby. That's right, 8. He has been killed and brought back to life at least 8 different times. This isn't just a character who had one famous death storyline. No, for him, it's a core part of who he is. He dies, it's usually brutal, and then, eventually, he comes back. And these deaths are almost always a huge deal. He's been taken out by cosmic bad guys like Dr. Doom. He was even killed by his own surrogate son, Cyclops, in one of the most heartbreaking moments in X-Men history. More recently, he's been assassinated and taken out by killer robots from the future. Every single death is like a symbol of his dream failing, and every time he comes back, he has to rebuild it, often in a slightly darker, more compromised way. So that brings us to today. After all the fighting, all the dying, and all the compromising, who is Charles Xavier now? Is he the dreamer, or is he the manipulator? In the last few years, Xavier has made his most radical move ever. He completely ditched the school idea and, teaming up with his old nemesis Magneto, he established a sovereign nation for all mutants on the living island of Krakoa. It's the ultimate safe haven he always dreamed of, but it's one that's built on secrets, shady deals, and a kind of ruthless attitude that feels a million miles from that idealistic headmaster we used to know. And really, this is what it all boils down to. Is he a hero who just had to get his hands dirty to save his people? Or was he always a manipulator, a guy whose incredible power made him believe that he was the only one who knew what was right, no matter who he hurt along the way? The truth is, there's a pretty strong case for both. He said it himself, any dream worth having is a dream worth fighting for. But after everything we've seen, it really makes you wonder,
What was he really willing to do in that fight? And just how many people's memories did he have to change to keep his dream alive?